Lions and Bears by the lakefront. Lions trying to bounce back after having their long win streak snapped at the hands of the Buffalo Bills. Some interesting decisions within it. Detroit seeking to set a franchise record with a 13th win this season. Bears trying to snap that 8-game losing streak. Wasn't looking good early. Jahmyr Gibbs punches it in from 1 yard out and got freaky with it. Lions up 10-0. No David Montgomery in this one, so Lions leaning on Gibbs, and they also got some dudes who could go out and get it. J-Mo! Jamison Williams pulling that one in and taking it in for 82 yards, 20-0. You know that guy.
Yeah, L.
You know that guy.
Rando L, former teammate.
Getting those wide receivers going out there. And
good running right here by
Amon-Ra finding the end zone as well. Everybody eats here in Chicago. Great restaurant town, I must say. 27-7 Lions at that point. Swing Bears drive.
Oh, shot.
A dot. The two-beater. And despite things going all wrong in Chicago, trying to keep the vibes high, Keenan Allen into the end zone.
That was a design act like I'm falling.
What is that?
I don't know, but he was wide open.
I mean, that's the last page of the playbook, and they're busting one out here up $1 million.
Yeah, they just showing off right now.
It's in bad taste. Goff fakes to fall, Gibbs as well. Sam Laporta, the beneficiary. Lions go on to win it 34-17, and now a record 13 wins on the season. They're the 6th team in NFL history to go from a 13-plus loss season to a 13-plus win season in the span of 3 seasons. Got all that? It was really bad. Now it's really good. And it's a team that, despite all the injuries, still has their eye on that 1 seed. All right, most passing touchdowns in a season. Jared Goff, not just game managing, not just distributing, but getting the job done. 33 touchdowns, passes Stafford, but still behind Stafford, 2nd most in franchise history with a couple weeks to play. Mac, this is a Lions team that this week went through a whole lot, at least in the public narrative. A lot of teams looking at the Lions differently, a lot of voices speaking about the Lions differently. What did they tell you here? This isn't a good Bears team by any stretch, especially the defensive side of that ball, but they get the job done here, and they show you that this is an offense that can go with anybody.
No, the thing I love about Detroit's game today, Joe, they jumped out of the blocks extremely fast. They were not playing around. They did not give the Chicago Bears any glimmer of hope to really make this thing a tight ball game. Consider what we've seen from Chicago in the last divisional games there in Chicago against the Green Bay Packers, against the Minnesota Vikings. The Detroit Lions jumped out of the blocks, and they were in full sprint in the first 10 meters of this ball game. And also, Jared Goff, this offense is tough to beat. We know about all the injuries they've been dealing with, especially on the defensive side. But if you're going to beat the Detroit Lions, you better score north of 26 at the bare minimum, because they're going to put up close to 30 points regardless of who they're facing off against because of the balance. They did not miss David Montgomery today. Jahmyr Gibbs showed up as a RB1 and did not disappoint. You look at the playmakers. J-Mo, outstanding in terms of a splash-like player for their offense. When you look at what he brings to the Detroit Lions, he reminds me a lot of a former teammate that I played with in Pittsburgh, and Mike Wallace. Anytime he's on the football field, you had to hold your breath because he can get behind the coverage at any given time. And you look at the accuracy that Jared Goff has in terms of deep passes towards J-Mo, it's been outstanding. And then don't forget about the Hines Ward of their offense and Amon-Ra St. Brown, the more of the physical pass catcher, but he gets things going as well. And then guess who else showed up to the party? Sam Laporta. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they have so many great football players that really embrace
on that Steelers team. Heath?
I mean, they have some really, really good football players that happen to play certain positions on their offense that surface week in and week out for them.
This is another spectacular performance by this team against one that's really lost the wind from its sails in Chicago. Now 9 consecutive losses, but the Bears, at least the fan base, a glimmer of hope in their quarterback who does have some magic in that arm. Perhaps the future head coach was on the opposite sideline in this one in Ben Johnson. We're going to have plenty of time to talk this one out, but Is that the best fit to get the most out of not just Caleb, but change the trajectory and the culture of this franchise that needs it right now?
Chicago needs a lot.
Yeah.
They need a great head coach, but they need to have people in the building that can create the foundation that needs to be built upon in terms of structure, in terms of competing, in terms of just doing things the right way. Caleb Williams is a very, very competitive kid. I understand when you see some of his body motions throughout ball games, it's because he's frustrated. It's because he's tired of running for his life and being beat up. But one thing you can never question in terms of Caleb Williams, his desire to fight.
Yeah.
He is a fighter. They just need to add some pieces around him, most importantly, the offensive line. Because if you can give him structure on the offensive line, he can be able to show you his best efforts. But he is a fighter. They're a bad team. There's not a lot of positivity you can say about the Bears right now because the coaching has been bad, even without Matt Eberflus on either side of the football field.
Who apparently was holding that defense together.
Apparently. The defense has been atrocious without Eberflus. Offensively, timely, good decisions, but then also untimely bad decisions in terms of the scheme and things like that. So they got a lot going on. The season is still left to be played in terms of, 2 more games, but it's a very, very difficult, dark time right now in Chicago with the Bears organization.
Maybe we'll take the rest of my therapy session offline, but for now, that is Bears-Lions, and the Lions come away with another win. They're 13th, a franchise record. And the Bears, however, they will not reach that longest losing streak, at least in this calendar season, but it is 9 in a row, the second longest ever in the history of the Charter franchise.